Hello, Jamie from InkyandScrappy, sharing with you today a fun shaker card. So I am starting with a slimline card base, the straight up rainbow die from My Favorite Things, and the unicorns and glitter stamp set from My Favorite Things as well. I'm also using the Lawnfawn cloud border stencil to help mask the top and the bottom of my rainbow shaker panel. I'm going to use the cloud stencil from My Favorite Things as well. I'm going in with the pumice stone oxide inks with some blending brushes. I'm going to start from the top and work my way down. And I had decided I was going this way because my clouds on the top hang down, and so I was thinking I needed to go in that same direction with the stenciled clouds. And then I come back in later on, you will see, and I flip the panel the other way, upside down, or right side up, I guess, where the clouds are actually puffy. So they just kind of look like sad clouds, and I wanted happier clouds. So the panel got switched later on. No big deal, one way or the other. I'm now just going in and kind of figuring out where I want the rainbow to be to make sure it's going to cover where I need it to cover. And so when I die cut it, I made sure that the top plate was just on the rainbow stripes. I didn't want the cloud to cut, and that way it did that without me having to snip my die cut apart. I'm just going in now with some pencil tick marks to kind of figure out how I'm going to put that rainbow beneath it. So I moved the top panel over just a little bit and then did a straight line, so then I knew that my colors had to go up to that line. And that way when I put the panel on top, you just see the solid color and there isn't any white showing. I'm using my Ohuhu fine nib chisel tip markers today. The first colors in reds, I'm using number 2, number 3, and number 4 from darkest to lightest. I'm going to go in for the oranges will be 21, 22, and 25 in that order, dark to light. The yellows, the dark tone is 33, mid-tone is 35, and the light tone is 37. The greens are dark tone is 43, mid-tone is 47, and the light tone is 48. And the blue-green, dark tone is 61, mid-tone is 58, light tone is 57, and the blues, dark tone is 72, mid-tone is 71, and the light tone is 74. And then the purple, the dark tone is 73, and the light tone is 174. And then I end up doing some tip to tip later on to kind of get a mid-tone in there. For I think the purple one on this, I just go over the dark purple with the light purple to kind of wash it out a little bit. It doesn't have to look pretty on the side because they aren't going to see the lines in between. So I will make sure to list all of the colors in the description box below. So if you wanted those actual colors. And then just going in, and this is where I decided, yep, it was going the other way. So it just looked a lot better that way, I felt. So I'm just going to finish doing my background prep. I won't do it all the way. So I wanted a sun, because you have to have a sun for the rainbow, right? And so I didn't actually have a die cut of a sun. And I wanted that smiley face. So I did the partial die cutting technique where I just put the yellow piece of paper far enough down, and then so my plate just covered the bottom of that smile, and then ran that through, and then I found a inside out stitch circle from MFT that worked for my sun size, and I cut that out, and then I cut an extra piece of white, a plain white one behind it, And it doesn't matter that it was kind of not a full die cut on top of the circle because it was going to get tucked underneath the cloud anyways. And then I cut a cloud piece, a partial, a scrap of white paper in with the cloud smiley on it so I could get the smiley face. I'm just going in now and doing the acetate on there. I went in with some strong double-sided adhesive, put that on there, and then put the acetate sheet over the top, and then burnished it down with my Teflon folder. And now I'm going in with some 3M foam adhesive that is double thickness and cutting down strips to fit along my sides. And the joy of a shaker, needing to make sure that you have all those little cracks and crevices, filled. And it was funny because I had like overdone all of this, made sure it was all, and there was still like just this little teeny tiny little spot, and it still decided to leak. So the best way to fix that after it's all together and you can't go back in with more foam tape is to use a dot of glue. So that's what I ended up doing after I found glitter on my table. Like I couldn't figure out where it was coming from, but there was one tiny little sliver of like maybe a sheet of paper width or whatever in there, and it was just that it was enough to let a little bit of the glitter fall out. So I just went in with a dot of a liquid adhesive on the side and just tapped it there, and it sealed up that hole. I decided I wanted to put the little skinny foam strips just on a couple of those rainbow stripes because I didn't want it to bow down in the middle and get my glitter confetti and my seed beads to get stuck in the middle there. And so I just went in, after I'd adhered them, I went in with my powder tool and made sure I did the whole inside, the edges, and around those little strips to make sure they weren't going to stick. I'm going in with some small size seed beads from Hobby Lobby, a glitter mix. It's like a clear iridescent glitter mix from Walmart of all places. And I'm going in with some, I think that it's a Hero Arts, like it was a confetti mix that I got with one of the monthly kits. And here I should have probably taken the adhesive off before I added them, but we made it work. And here's me hoping that I lined it up right because, once it's there, it's there. You're kind of stuck with it. It was off just a little bit, so I just had to trim up the one side and the one edge, and it was good to roll. Now I'm going to go, now that my background is mostly done, I have all the pieces ready for the most part, I am going to go and stamp and color my images. So I'm using the little girl to the side and then the little cat, the unicorn cat, unikitty. What's a unicorn cat called? A unikitty? I don't know. So we're just stamping these, and I tend to use my whole sheet when I stamp, so I fill it with images. I did end up going back in and coloring the other set for a second card because I usually make more than one when I find an image or a card that I make and I like it. So I will do multiples after the fact. I am going in with a skin tone color of 142 is my dark tone here, and then number 29 is my light tone. So this is real time. Sorry, it's super slow because that's how fast I color. It actually gets better. It's the first going in and figuring out where those highlights or those lowlights are going to be is always painstakingly slow for me to try to decide where I want those highlights or those low lights to be. And I always start dark and go to light. It's how I've always colored, so it works for me. And then I did do a little bit of tip to tip to get a little bit better blend in between that light and that dark shade. And then for the cat, I went in with number 103 and number 138. So 138 is my light tone and 103 is my dark tone. I was kind of aiming for an orange cat, and these kind of have an orange-er tint to them in the brown. And then for the hair, I'm trying for a platinum blonde. I don't know if I achieved it or not, but it's definitely a blonde hair colors. So the hair colors were 122, 131, and 127. And then for her dress and outfit, I am going in with the colors that I used for the background earlier. I will again link them in the, or I will write them into the description box below. And I think I tried to do the orange in just 2 colors, doing the tip to tip, because I just couldn't get that blend that I wanted. And it did end up working out okay with the tip to tip. And then the dress, I was trying to deepen it a little bit, trying to give a little bit of motion, or you know, the waves and the dips in the skirt. I don't know if I achieved it. I tried. And that's how I work. It is what it is. So I found the matching dies and cut them out. I went in with a stardust jelly, or I think it's just a stardust, I don't know, I think it's jelly roll. A stardust jelly roll pen for the horn, and then the black jelly roll for the eyes. So then they have that glossy pop to them. Just putting that sun together. I realized after I had the glue down that I have to get the sun in there, like when the glue's wet, because I won't be able to lift up the clouds afterwards. So that's how that one turned out. And now I'm just kind of trimming up that bottom piece to see, I want enough of the silver to show on the bottom, but not that much silver to show on the bottom. You know, it's a process. And then I picked out the sentiment, and I'm going to add that here. The Your Straight Up Magical kind of went perfectly with the straight up rainbow, so that's what we went with. Just using the VersaMark ink and then a silver embossing powder. I don't know where the silver came from. It is my favorite, so I'm hoping it's the Ranger one that I think it is. So there are the little smiley face pieces. I just colored those with some Ohuhu markers. The pink blush on the cheeks is number 159. I will make sure that is below. And then I'm using some Big Mama foam tape for that white cloud, just to pop it up a little bit from the background. And then I will go on my images and add that same foam tape to the top part of them where they aren't on that white cloud. They're so cute. Adding some liquid shimmer to the sun. Going in with some white jelly roll pen for the eyes, for the white highlight on the eyes. And then I'm taking that stardust mix from Hero Arts and going in with the little, I don't know, is it the magic piece? The little 4-sided star thingy and adding that on top in a few spots. Now for the card base, and the card base is an 8.5 by 7 scored at 3.5. And I'm using the Happy Happy Wonderful Birthday Wishes from the Gnome set from MFT. And then I'm using some of those other images from the Unicorns and Glitter set for the inside pieces, or for the inside accent pieces. And then just using some thick score tape and some glue to get the card on the bottom there. And then, of course, testing out that shaker, because gotta love the shake noise. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and keep getting inky.